everybody, welcome to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about, school stories. And instead of talking to you about life lessons and all the bad things that happen at school and how school is built bad, I'm going to tell you some actual stories. Because it's time I tell you some stories. Because I just went back and named every single school stories video and gave it a title, such as only taking over when you're not involved and stuff like that. Today's name is supposed to be an actual story. In parentheses, dads! Exclamation mark. And that's what we're going to talk about today. My story of having to go through having my dad at school and what exactly went down that day. See, I was a regular 4th grader, and I sat at the front of the class, and all the dads sat at the back right. So I'm sitting kind of over at the front middle, but kind of to the left, but over to the front, all the way to the right of the room. There's the teacher's desk, and specifically two people or two kids sitting over at that table, Carissa and King. What ends up happening is Carissa starts talking during class. Not only that, but not talking, but the kind of Pac-Man chewing talking. You know, like up, 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 up. Up, 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 up. And you know, not to be offensive or anything, because I don't even remember if she was talking or just complaining, but I do remember that she was talking, and my dad was like, "Who is that girl? She needs to shut up." I'm like, he didn't say that. He said something along the lines of, "You need to be quiet." And I said last part of this while I was talking about the Jumbotron and explaining about everything, doing another life lesson. I explained that I have an old man dad, and I'm a late bloomer. And you don't get to choose to be a late bloomer. You get to be a late bloomer. You don't get to choose, you just get to be one. And along with this comes a whole lot of unwanted stuff you never would have experienced in the first place if you weren't a late bloomer. Maybe if you had a young dad, you were like, "Girl, that boy, blah, that girl needs to shut up." Because if you're a late bloomer, you're gonna hear them, "That girl needs to shut up." Back in my day, oh my gosh, they would have tore your butt up and have you flipped on the inside out and on the upside down. You said anything in class. If you breathed, if you talked, if you slapped somebody, if you touched somebody's knee, if you touched the floor, if you touched the air in the room. And what I had to say to that is, we don't care. That's what I have to say, because we don't care. Okay. Maybe I should be a little more considerate. And maybe I shouldn't. You know why? Because I really do hate those type of old-timey people. You know, I have an old dad, and I should be dealing with it right now. I've been around him for so long. I should be able to deal with it by now, right? Yeah, sure, having an old-timey dad is fun, because da-da-da-da-da. But they also think that everything happens because of the phone. What I can guarantee you is that young dads know what a phone can do to you. And they know that a phone alone will not flip over your test. Okay? The phone will not do anything. And that's the effects of having old-timey dad. So what I had to deal with for the next I don't know how long was the dad telling me, remember that Carissa girl? She run her mouth too much. And I was driving insane. And yeah, that's part 10 for you. I remember looking back at part 1 and seeing that it was so short. And I remember looking through the playlist and looking through all of the names because I love to just scroll through whether it's Slap Battles part, like, I don't know, Slap Battles part 105. No, there are not 105 parts of Slap Battles on my channel yet. I probably divide them into seasons before I find my way to add 100. Whatever. All I know is that there are about more than 20 Slap Battles videos on my channel. And what I'm thinking of is like going back and reading all of the videos, right? So me going back and adding names to them, I had to listen to. So when I went back and listened to them, I realized that only like less than half of them were stories. And I was just talking about life lessons, how my experience was, and how bad school is. I should save that for like school socks compilation. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this story. School Stories 11 will be recorded right after this, even though I said that in School Stories 8, I believe. This time, School Stories 11 is coming out. It's coming out soon. So, bye. Hope you enjoyed this one.